You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Would you please state your name?
Amara Drew,
Can you spell both names, please?
Amara Drew.
Ma'am, how are you employed?
I'm currently employed with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FDLE for short, in their firearm section.
Okay, and FDLE, is that a statewide agency, law enforcement agency here in Florida?
It is.
Does that agency maintain crime laboratories throughout the state of Florida?
It does.
Is there one here at the Tampa Bay Regional Center here in Tampa?
There is.
Now, that laboratory, is it contained within a larger complex?
Yes, the investigations is also housed there.
All right. Can you tell the jurors, first of all, your educational background?
So I have a Bachelor's of Science from Westchester University in Forensic and Toxicological Chemistry. After completing my school education, I completed on-the-job training in the field of firearms and tool marks examination, which I successfully completed.
Okay. Now, can you tell the jurors your work history?
So I started working in the firearms field in April of 2019 with the Idaho State Police Forensic Services in their firearms unit. After employment there, I was employed with the North Carolina State Crime Laboratory, again in their firearms unit. And then I joined FDLE in June of 2023, again with their firearms unit.
So with both the laboratory in Idaho and the laboratory in North Carolina, are those laboratories similar to FDLE that accept evidence from law enforcement agencies?
That is true.
All right. And so this is a public-funded, publicly ran laboratory in both of those states?
Yes.
So I want to talk to you first about your time at the Idaho State Police Forensic Laboratory. How many years were you there?
I was there from April of 2019 till July of 2020.
Did you receive training at that laboratory when you started there in the area of firearms examination and identification?
I did.
Can you tell the jurors about that training?
So my training included readings, practical assessments of comparisons of cartridge cases, functionality of different types of firearms, the assembly, disassembly, serial number restoration, and all of that was written tested, practical tested, which ended with a competency test and a mock trial, which I successfully completed all of that.
What positions did you hold in that laboratory?
I was a contract grant employee in their firearms unit.
And did you conduct actual casework?
I did.
In your casework there at that laboratory, did you work with firearms that were being submitted by law enforcement agencies and firearm components such as fired cartridge cases or projectiles or jacketing?
Yes, I did.
Did you have occasion during that time period to work on guns such as the Glock manufactured pistol and AR platform weapons?
I've worked with those firearms before, yes.
Moving on to North Carolina State Crime Lab. First of all, what part of the state were you in? What part was that laboratory located in?
It was located in Hendersonville, so the western side of the state near Asheville, North Carolina.
What years did you work there?
I was employed there from July of 2020 till May of 2023.
Did you receive any training, additional training when you arrived there?
When I arrived in North Carolina, I did an expedited training program with more practical assessments and written tests to show that I was competent in the type of examinations that I said I was trained in Idaho.
Were you able to meet their proficiency standards?
I was.
Did you conduct actual casework there?
I did.
When you left that laboratory, is that when you came here to Florida to work at the FDLE?
That is correct.
And your job here at FDLE, has it always been in Tampa?
Yes,
So you started here in Tampa and you're still there in Tampa?
that is correct, yes.
Is there a laboratory maintained by the FDLE in Jacksonville?
There is, yes.
Same type of laboratory as here?
Yes, sir.
In the laboratory here and the laboratory in Jacksonville, you work in the firearms section, correct?
The laboratory here in Tampa, I work in firearms, but
I'm sorry, here in Tampa.
Yeah,
and
but
in
Jacksonville has a firearms section as well.
And they maintain other disciplines in those laboratories, is that correct?
That is correct.
Such as DNA analysis and other areas.
Correct. Each
think-
lab has multiple disciplines.
I believe the DNA laboratory is known as the biology laboratory.
Yes.
So let's talk about your time here at FDLE. When you came to FDLE, did you have to undergo any additional training?
Upon my employment with FDLE, I went through an assessment period to show that, again, that I can do the type of examination that I said I was trained to do. And then upon completing that assessment, I did 6 months of supervised casework within my training period as well, and then I successfully completed all of that and was released for casework.
Can you explain what supervised casework, what that term means?
So supervised casework means that I have hands-on actual cases under a qualified examiner that has already been released at that laboratory. So it's real casework, and they're going behind and verifying that we are conducting the examinations as we are supposed to and accurately.
Do you, while you're employed at FDLE and have been, do you continue to receive additional and annual training?
We do.
Do you keep abreast of current trends and new developments in the area of firearm and tool mark analysis and identification?
I do.
Do you, as an analyst, undergo proficiency testing at the FDLE on some periodic basis?
We do, yes.
Can you explain that, please?
So every year we get an annual proficiency test. So that's an external test we receive from a company in the field for comparison examination. And that is done every year. So we are tested on whether or not we can come to the accurate conclusion on doing microscopic comparisons. And then throughout our 4-year cycle, we are also tested on our serial number restoration internally, or that's externally, I apologize, and then internal proficiency competency testing for other services we offer, like function testing, measuring barrel and overall length, and our database entry.
Have you ever had any problem with your proficiency testing?
I have not.
Have you met all proficiency standards while employed at FDLE?
I have.
Is there, well, first let me go back. Is the FDLE laboratory itself, does it hold certifications as a laboratory?
Our laboratory is accredited, yes.
Accredited, I'm sorry, accreditations.
Yes.
And are those accreditations that are set by an external agency or agencies?
They are.
And is there an auditing process that the firearms section undergoes and that the laboratory undergoes?
Yes, there is.
Can you explain that?
Yes, so we are on a 4-year accreditation cycle. So there is an external body that comes in and does a big audit for us every 4 years. There are smaller ones throughout the 4-year cycle as well to just make sure we're still following our standards. But the big one comes through and they go over all of our standard operating procedures, our training manuals, our casework and stuff to verify that we are conducting our examinations the way we say we are in our SOPs, as well as that our SOPs align with the international standards that are set forth.
SOP, standard operating procedure.
Yes, sir.
In addition to that auditing process, are there internal FDLE auditing that occurs?
There is, yes.
Does that involve other laboratories?
It does.
How does that work?
So our internal audits happen every year, and analysts, firearms analysts from our other regions will come to our laboratory and audit us to make sure us as a Tampa Bay laboratory are following the operating procedures as well.
Do you participate in the auditing of other laboratories within the FDLE?
I am trained to participate, yes.
Have you previously testified as an expert in the area of firearms and tool mark examination, analysis, and identification?
I have.
How many times?
Approximately 15.
In what jurisdictions?
There's probably about 8 to 9 in North Carolina and the remaining here in Florida.
How many total times have you conducted comparisons and analysis of firearms or firearm components?
I've worked hundreds of cases. So there's thousands of comparisons and hundreds of firearms I've examined.
Your Honor, I would tender Ms. Drew for voir dire.
Any questions?
No.
Proceed.
So you've previously described where you work here in Tampa. Can you tell us where the laboratory is located here in Tampa?
It's located about 20 minutes from here, near the Bucs Stadium.
It's on North Lois?
Yes,
And would it be just to the north or northwest of Hillsborough Community College?
yes.
Or it may be known as Hillsborough College now, I'm not sure. When evidence is brought to that laboratory in that complex by law enforcement agencies, such as the Tampa Police Department, can you explain to the jury how that evidence is taken into the laboratory?
So when an agency brings evidence to our laboratory, it comes in through our evidence intake section. We have evidence technicians there that will accept the evidence, log it into our LIM system, which is our Laboratory Information Management System, with what the items are coming in, the description that the agency has provided for said items, and that's the initial entry into our system that is tracked so we can follow where the evidence is within our laboratory. Once it comes into the laboratory and it's given its FDLE case number, and each item in the case is given its own item number, it is stored in the evidence vault until it is checked out by an analyst.
All right, and so you said vault. Is that a secure area?
It is.
And so now you've mentioned a FDLE number. So when a piece of evidence or pieces of evidence, items of evidence are brought to the laboratory and submitted, is there an FDLE number that is created and assigned to that case?
That is correct, yes.
And is that a unique number to that case?
Yes, each case gets its own number.
The individual items of evidence as they are brought in, are they assigned an item number, an FDLE item number?
They are, yes.
And does that item number, in your generated reports, is it associated to an agency exhibit number?
It is, yes.
And so the agency is required, when they bring that in, to fill out some type of a form that is generated by FDLE?
That is correct. We
Is
get
that-
that information on what's called a case tracking form.
Case tracking form, and I believe an evidence submission form?
That's not something I would see. That comes in the evidence
Okay.
intake section. The form I see is the case tracking form.
So they have to assign to it an evidence or a exhibit number of their own?
That is correct.
Okay. And if there's some discrepancy in their exhibit number that they provided, how do you go about resolving that?
If there's an item discrepancy issue, we will reach out to the agency to verify that what we have is an item discrepancy, and we will return the evidence unworked until they can fix that item and return it correctly so their description and item numbers match up.
If that occurs, is that noted in your report that you generate?
That is correct, it is.
When you conduct analysis of firearms or firearm components such as ammunition, do you in fact generate a report that indicates your results?
I do, yes.
Does that report contain the unique FDLE number?
It does.
Does it contain the submitting agency's report number
It does.
for that case?
It does.
Does it commonly contain a description of the offense that it's related to?
Yes.
Does it sometimes contain the name of a victim if it's a crime involving a victim?
If provided by the agency, yes.
Also in the report, does it indicate who the officer is that's submitting the agent or the evidence
Yes.
and the date that it was submitted?
Yes.
In this case, did you in fact conduct analysis on multiple submissions from two different agencies and produce multiple laboratory reports?
I did, yes.
So I'm going to go to your FDLE number 2024-030-7688 laboratory report dated December 26, 2024.
Am I allowed to refer to my notes?
Your Honor, may she refer to her notes or her report? If you want to have your report in front of you while you're testifying, that's fine. If you refer to it, please let us know.
Okay.
So in that case, who was the submitting agency?
This case was submitted to us by the Tampa Police Department.
And was evidence received or submitted to the Tampa Bay Laboratory here in Tampa on September 18th of 2024?
Sorry, I'm referring. I apologize, there's two reports in this case. One of the submissions was received on September 18th, 2024.
I was going to ask you to hold that open because you may need to refer to your notes. I was going to ask, who is the submitting officer?
So for the one submitted on September 18th, the submitting officer, I believe, is Juan Ramos.
And was that in reference to a certain offense?
Yes.
And was that offense described generally in your report?
Yes.
Was it described as a death investigation, Hillsborough County, June 23rd, 2024?
It was, yes.
Okay. Now, on that report, you have the unique FDLE number you've indicated to us, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. The agency number is documented?
Overall, go ahead.
Is the agency number documented in that report?
The agency number is, yes.
What is the Tampa Police Department agency number?
The agency number provided to me was 24-365605.
What was the item that was received by FDLE?
In this case, I received a fired cartridge case.
And in your report, did you assign an FDLE item number to that piece of evidence?
Yes, it does have an FDLE item number.
What is that number?
In this submission, it was FDLE item 7.
And what was the agency's accompanying exhibit number for that item?
The provided agency exhibit number was 1847503-5.
Did you conduct analysis on that cartridge case and
I did.
examine it?
I did.
Okay. When you conduct an analysis of an item such as a shell casing, in this case, how do you go about obtaining that evidence, or how do you end up bringing it or transporting it to your lab?
So after the evidence comes into our lab, it gets stored in that evidence vault. When I'm assigned a case by my supervisor, I will then take the file with the case tracking form that I received and bring it to the evidence window, where I will then check the evidence out from one of our technicians, and it is digitally tracked in that lab information management system, LIMS, that I mentioned. And once I go ahead and digitally sign for that evidence, I will then take it to my personal lab space, where I will either begin working on it or store it in my locker until I'm ready to work on it.
All right. When the item is processed into the evidence section, is there some type of a label that's generated and placed on the packaging that the item is in?
There is, yes.
And, okay, first of all, I'm going to move to published states 14, Your Honor.
Okay?
Now, when you receive items such as firearm components, ammunition, fired cartridge cases, or projectiles, are they commonly submitted in packaging that is similar to what I'm holding up in states 14?
Yeah, that is a common type of packaging we receive.
A paper evidence envelope?
Yes, it could be that, a plastic bag, a brown paper bag.
So, publishing states 14, do you see the FDLE label?
Yes, I do.
Is it the yellow label?
It is.
What is this number on the top here where the pen is pointing?
So that is the given case number, FDLE case number that is assigned to it when it enters the laboratory.
And the number 7?
That is its given item number from FDLE.
And this line below the number 7?
So that is our barcode because we digitally transfer everything via the system. So that's how we scan our evidence to be able to transfer it.
And on the label, does the label indicate the submitting agency?
It does.
And in this case, who's the submitting agency that's indicated?
Tampa Police Department.
And is the Tampa Police Department's case number also included?
That is correct.
Is that just below where it reads Tampa Police Department?
Yes, sir.
And then the item number below that, would that in fact be the TPD exhibit number?
Yes, that's the agency exhibit number.
Below that packaging, there is some writing there that appears to duplicate the FDLE number.
That's correct.
Is that your handwriting?
That is. I will mark evidence when I begin to work it with the agency case number, or apologies, the FDLE case number, item number, and my initials.
This is your initials above my finger?
That is.
When you retrieve the evidence and bring it to your laboratory, how do you go about opening an item such as this?
So when I receive the evidence, I will take it to my area. I will verify that the information on that label and on the packaging matches what I have on the case tracking form. Once I verify that I have the correct evidence, I will then proceed to open it. I will cut the package open, trying to avoid any seals that are existing on the packaging, and verify again that I have the correct evidence, and then I will fill out the appropriate worksheet for the type of evidence I received.
Okay. So in this case, publishing states 14, we see evidence tape up here that reads evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But we also see tape here that appears to have a DLE. Do you recognize that evidence tape?
Yes, I do.
And Do you know where that came from?
That would be the seal I placed on it.
Okay, and are those your initials?
They are.
And the date?
Yep, that is the date I sealed the evidence.
All right, so this is when you finished your analysis and conducted all the work you did on this case, you placed it back into that envelope
Correct.
and then resealed it?
Correct.
So this is the area where you had opened the envelope,
That is correct.
and you used that area to avoid the tape that was already on the envelope?
I try to, yes.
All right. Now, when you're confirming that the information matches your submitting forms from the agency, are you using their labeling to do that?
I'm using their labeling, our labeling, any information provided to try to verify that I have the correct evidence.
Before opening the package and before beginning your analysis, do you don some type of protective gear?
Generally, we will wear gloves to protect our hands from anything that potentially could be on the evidence.
Now, in States 14, there is a smaller envelope contained within. I want to ask you about that, so I'm going to publish this item. I'll ask you first of all, do you see any markings on that smaller envelope that you recognize?
So that's my initials and date in my handwriting from where I sealed the envelope.
So this is evidence from FDLE or evidence tape?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you're initialing it and dating, it appears that you're putting part of that on the tape and part on the envelope.
That is correct.
Why do you do that?
I do that to verify that if there is any, tampering or whatnot, you can still see that I marked it at some point, so I try to do on both the tape and the envelope.
And then on the other side, do you do the same thing?
That's correct.
Removing the item and publishing. Do you see something on that cartridge case?
Yes, those are my markings that I marked with the associated FDLE case number, item number, and my initials for that item.
Okay. For now, I'm going to leave it published. What is that item?
That is a cartridge case that I received.
All right. And has it been fired?
It has, yes.
How do you know that?
There is a firing and impression and other marks on it to indicate that it has been fired.
Can you describe for us where that marking is it indicates? You said a firing pin mark?
So the firing pin impression is that D shape that you see that kind of looks like it sinks into the cartridge case a little bit. That is where the firing pin strikes, and that is what we refer to as the firing pin impression.
All right. So I want to ask you about this. What part of the cartridge case is this that we're looking at?
So this is the head of the cartridge case. It is the part that would be seated against the breech face of the firearm.
And is that commonly known as a head stamp?
The head stamp is the markings that are on that, where you see the MXT and the other writing is considered the head stamp.
So the indentation in the middle of that cartridge case, that is something that is left by some component of the firearm?
That is correct.
And that would be the firing pin?
Yes, that indentation is from the firing pin.
All right. Now, on the top of the cartridge case, I really can't point to it because it's so small, but it reads MXT. What does that stand for, and what is that there for?
I believe it's Max Tech is the manufacturer of that ammo. It is just the company that makes that cartridge case.
So it's a way of branding the cartridge case?
That is correct.
You've described the cartridge case in your report as a 9mm Luger, is that right?
That is correct.
Caliber.
That is correct.
All right. On the head of the cartridge case, we see the indentations 9X19. What does that stand for?
So that's 9x19. That's indicating that it is a 9mm, and the 19 is indicating the case length. It's just another name for 9mm Luger, but it means the same thing.
On heads of cases like this from different manufacturers, do you sometimes just see 9mm
You can, yes.
or 9mm Luger?
You can, yes.
All right. So all of those stand for the same thing?
That is correct,
All
yes.
right. And do you know what the 23 is on there?
I do not remember that.
Okay. Possibly something proprietary to that brand?
It could possibly be the year.
Overall, go ahead.
It could possibly be the year it was that specific cartridge lot was made, but I'm unsure exactly what the 23 means.
Now, you talked about this being manufactured by Max Tech. Are there other companies that produce handgun ammunition?
Yes,
Are there other companies that produce 9mm ammunition?
yes.
Can you tell us some of those companies?
There's Remington, CCI, Spear, Sig Sauer, Federal, PMC. There's a lot of companies that make 9mm caliber.
Winchester, is that one of them?
Yes,
Or Fiocchi or Fiocchi, depending on
Yes.
how you pronounce it?
Sustain the objection, rephrase.
Yes. Are Winchester and Fiocchi, are those manufacturers of ammunition?
those are also manufacturers, yes.
Do those companies make 9mm ammunition?
They do.
So not an exhaustive list, but there are, would it be fair to say there are several companies that manufacture 9mm ammunition?
Yes.
So I'm going to move on to another December 26, 2024 laboratory report that you produced. And this is going to be in reference to FDLE number 2024-040-3556. All right, do you have that in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, what was the agency number?
The associated agency case number provided to me was, again, I'm referring to my notes, 24-0318206.
And what agency was the submitting agency?
This was from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Was that item or items, were they submitted to the FDLE laboratory in December?
Are we referring to which submission?
On that report, does the report indicate that the evidence was submitted to the FDLE laboratory in Jacksonville?
Yes.
Okay.
The one submitted on December 10th, 2024? Is that the,
Just want to make sure I'm looking at the right one. Okay. Yes, December 10th.
okay, yes.
Okay. And was that by a C.G. Morris?
It was, yes.
And what was included in that submission?
This submission contained 2 fired cartridge cases.
What was the full description given in your report?
I described them as 2 fired 9mm Luger caliber cartridge cases, and they were designated as items 9.1 and 9.2.
All right. And generally, what was the FDLE item number for those?
They came in as an item 9, FDLE.
And what was the agency exhibit number that was accompanying that?
The agency exhibit number I received was 8-50.
Were those items at some point transported from the Jacksonville laboratory to the Tampa Bay laboratory by FDLE personnel?
They were.
And were they placed into the evidence section at the Tampa laboratory or brought directly to you?
They would go through the evidence section.
And at some point, so you have to check them out to conduct your analysis?
That is correct.
Okay. Publishing states 58. Would you agree with me that this is another evidence envelope?
It is, yes.
Do you see the FDLE label?
I do.
And is that in reference to the submission we're talking about?
It is, yes.
Does it have the unique FDLE number?
It does.
Does it have the item number?
It does.
Does it have the submitting agency
Yes.
and their case number?
Yes.
And the item or exhibit number from the agency?
Yes.
And just like with the other packaging, do you see your FDLE number, the item number, and your initials that you wrote on this package?
I do.
And is there a date, or, no, I'm sorry, is there an item indicated below that?
Yes.
So you have number 9, and then you have 9.1 through 9.2?
That is correct.
Do you see your FDLE tape where you resealed this package?
I do.
And you did that after your work was completed?
That is correct.
Thank you. I'm just going to hold on to it. States 58, publishing contents. I'm going to try to line these up so you can see the markings. Do you recognize the markings on these cartridge cases?
The one with the blue right there, no, yes, both of them, that is my handwriting of the associated FDLE case number, item number, and my initials.
And so this consists of 2 fired cartridge cases?
That is correct, yes.
All right. All right. Now, what we're looking at would be the head of each of those cartridge cases?
That is correct.
Is that correct? All right. On this, the heads of both of those cartridge cases, first of all, do we see indications that those were fired?
Yes,
All right, in the same area?
yes.
Now, the area where we see that fire pin impression, what is that area of the cartridge case?
So that is the primer of the cartridge case. That's the area where the firing pin strikes, and that striking causes an ignition or an explosion, which ignites the powder that is housed in the unfired cartridge, and that burns, which expands and projects the projectile out.
All right. And so the powder, the gunpowder would be, in the cartridge case, would be above the primer?
Correct.
And then it would be in contact with the primer?
It'll be inside, seated on the inner part of the cartridge case, but yes, it'll come on contact to the inner part of the head of the cartridge case.
And was that same true for the cartridge case we looked at in item number 14?
That is correct,
Stage
yes.
14, okay. And again, we see indications here that a firing pin has struck that primer on both these?
Yes,
Now, on these heads of these cartridge cases, do we see head stamps indicating the manufacturer?
we do.
And where is that, or can you describe it to us?
The manufacturer of these would be the FC, which is federal.
Okay, so FC Federal Corporation or Company?
Yeah.
All right. Now, is the caliber designated on these cartridge cases?
It is, yes.
And is it different than what we saw in the other cartridge case?
It's the same caliber, but written differently. So on this instance, they're written as the 9mm Luger.
Okay, so 9mm Luger on both.
Correct.
Okay. Did you conduct analysis of these 2 items?
I did.
Did you do comparisons of the items where you compared them to each other?
I did.
And what were your findings or results?
For the items 9.1 and 9.2 cartridge cases, I identified them to each other.
What does that mean?
That means that they were fired from the same firearm.
Okay. And then, did you compare them to item 14, which was the shell casing that we looked at earlier that had the MXT on it?
Would that be the item 7 from FDLE?
Yes, I'm sorry. I need to refer to your report. This would be your FDLE report number 307688, item 7.
Yes, I did do a comparison between 9.1 and 9.2 from the FDLE case number 24-4-3556 to that item 7 cartridge case in the other case.
And what were the results of your comparison?
I concluded that they were identified to each other,
And what does that mean?
meaning that all of them were fired from the same firearm.
Were you able to determine with all three of those exhibits whether they demonstrated in any of the markings on the casings class characteristics consistent with being fired by a certain brand of pistol?
I was, yes.
What were your findings as to that?
I determined that those cartridge cases display class characteristics similar to firearms by Glock, but among possible others, but generally Glock.
Okay. And that would include your item 7 in states 14 and your item 9.1 and 9.2 in states, I believe it was 58.
Yes, sir.
Sure, yes, 58. All right. Did you indicate the results that you've just testified to in both of those reports?
I did,
And is that in a cross-reference section of the report?
yes.
All right, now I want to move, and I know you generated several reports dated January 9th of 2025, is that correct?
I'd have to verify the dates. Yes.
All right, so I want to go first to your FDLE number 2024-030-7688. And this is Tampa Police Department Agency number 365605.
That is what I have, yes.
All right, and that would be the same submitting agency and report number and FDLE number as your item 7 came from, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Under this report, did the FDLE Tampa Bay lab receive evidence on August 21st of 2024 and also on December 19th of 2024?
That is correct.
And who submitted that evidence?
It looks like both were submitted by Juan Ramos.
All right. And were there FDLE item numbers generated in that report? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9.
That is correct.
All right. So I want to start with your item 1. What was the description that you placed in your report for item 1?
I noted item 1 was 1 fired bullet jacket.
What was the description for item 2?
I noted 1 bullet core.
Item 3
1 bullet core.
and item 4.
1 fired bullet jacket.
Can you explain to the jury what a fired bullet jacket is?
So a fired bullet jacket is the outer coating of a traditional bullet. It kind of would be thought of like an M&M, like the candy coating on an M&M, and then you have the chocolate core. So that candy coating is what's similar to the jacket. So it's that outer area of the projectile.
Now, I want to go back real quick, if you can, with your 1 through 4 items. So item 1, FDLE item number, was there an accompanying agency exhibit number?
There is, yes.
And what is that?
I was provided 1847587-8.
And for item 2?
1847587-13.
And for item 3?
1847587-14.
And for item 4?
1847587-15.
And you've indicated that items 2 and 3 are 1 bullet core per each item. What is a bullet core?
So a bullet core is that inner portion of a projectile, typically lead, but it can be other materials, that is covered by that jacket. So back to that M&M analogy, it would be that chocolate inside.
Now, items 5 and 6, I want to talk to you about those. Were those firearms that were submitted in this case from Tampa Police Department where there was a labeling discrepancy like we talked about earlier?
There was, yes.
How did you remedy that?
It was remedied by reaching out to the agency indicating that their labels did not match the information provided on the box and what was in the box. The items were returned to the officer to remedy the situation and fix their labeling.
Did it appear that the agency's exhibit number for those had been inverted?
Overruled, go ahead.
Yes.
So did Detective Ramos come back and resubmit under the appropriate agency exhibit number?
That is correct, yes.
Those 2 firearms?
Yes,
Okay. And then those became 8 and 9?
that is correct, yes.
All right. So let's go to item 8. What is the Tampa Police Department agency exhibit number for that?
The item 8 is 1849583-2.
And what is the description that you provided for that item?
Item 8 was Black Forge 5.56 NATO caliber semi-automatic rifle, model BF-15, with the serial number D00000123, and 2 fired bullets and 2 fired .223 Remington caliber cartridge cases not examined.
Okay. Is it common or uncommon to receive test-fired bullets and cartridge cases with submitted firearms?
It depends on the agency.
Okay. But that's something you have seen before?
It is, yes.
When you receive a firearm from a law enforcement agency and they've test-fired the gun for whatever purposes, you're not going to do anything with those test fires, with the bullets and the cartridge cases?
No, we will generate our own test fires for examination purposes.
Okay. So let's move on to Exhibit 9, or I'm sorry, your item number 9. Can you give us the accompanying agency exhibit number for that?
1849583-1.
In the original submissions, were the last 2 digits, the 2 and the 1, were those the item or the numbers that were inverted on the agency exhibit numbers?
That is correct.
All right. So it was simply just changing those 2 numbers and resubmitting?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. So for your item 9, can you give us your description of that item?
Anderson Manufacturing 300 blackout caliber auto-loading firearm, model AM-15, with the serial number 20189-158, and 2 fired bullets and 2 fired 300 blackout caliber cartridge cases not examined.
Same thing, test fires?
Yes.
Now, I want to go back to item 8, the Black Forge 5.56 NATO caliber semi-automatic rifle. That caliber, 5.56, is that commonly called either 5.56 or 5.56?
Yes, it can be, yes.
And the NATO designation, is that the official caliber, 5.56 NATO?
That is.
And is that how you mark that or indicate its caliber?
That is correct, yes.
All right. And the Anderson manufacturing rifle is in 300 blackout caliber. Is that a caliber that is or can be chambered in AR-15 platform rifles
That is correct.
or firearms?
Yes,
Okay. And is that something you've seen in your work?
I have, yes.
Are you familiar with the 300 blackout round?
I am.
So I want to go back to your items 1 through 4. The two fired, I'm sorry, looking at the wrong report. The one fired bullet jacket under item 1, the one fired bullet jacket under item 4, and then the two that you've indicated were one bullet core, and that's items 2 and 3. Did you examine and analyze these items?
I did.
Did you compare them to each other?
I did.
What were the results of the comparison?
I determined that the item 1 and 4 fired bullet jackets were inconclusive to each other, and that the items 2 and 3 bullet cores were no value.
Okay. Why were the bullet cores of no value?
So bullet cores are generally of no value because they are not the part of the projectile that's coming into contact with the firearm. It, again, is covered with the jacket coating. So during firing, sometimes the jacket and the core can become separated. So the jacket part is what would be of value, and the core is just of no value because it's not the part coming in contact.
Going back to the items 1 and 4, the fired bullet jacket, excuse me. You indicated they were inconclusive to each other. Were they also inconclusive to item 8, the Black Forge 5.56 NATO caliber rifle?
That is correct.
Now, what does the term inconclusive mean?
The term inconclusive means that there were similar class characteristics, and those are the features that are determined prior to manufacturing. So for a projectile, the number of lands and grooves, which are the grooves of the rifling, which helps with stability of the projectile, that number, the width of them, the direction of twist is all determined prior to manufacturing. So those are their class characteristics. So in this instance, they were the same. However, the individual detail, the finer, more specific detail that we would use to potentially ID or eliminate a projectile to a firearm was very limited, and I just didn't have enough, there's not enough information to come to a more definitive conclusion.
So the lack of definitive specific information would be on the jacketing?
Correct.
Okay. And that would be items 1 and 4?
That is correct.
All right. So you could not eliminate them as having been fired by the same firearm, or eliminate them as having been fired by item 8, the Black Forge 5.56 rifle?
Correct. I couldn't eliminate or identify. I couldn't come to any conclusion.
And if I understand your testimony correctly, they all share in common the class characteristics.
That is correct.
So if you could generally, just for folks who may not know, can you describe or explain what rifling is and where it's located on the firearm?
So rifling is the grooves cut down the barrel of the firearm. So that's the part of the firearm that the projectile will travel down, or the bullet will travel after it's been fired. And they're grooves cut in a kind of helical twist motion to allow stability of the projectile during its flight path.
So the number of those grooves, the width of the grooves, and the direction of the spiraling can be different per firearm.
It can be, yes.
All right. And these two jacketed items, or the two jacketing items in 1 and 4, and the rifle, all shared those in common.
They did.
The same direction, same number, and same width of the rifle, of
Yes.
the rifling grooves.
Yes.
Okay.
Their class characteristics were consistent.
All right. So I want to go kind of center in on item 4, the bullet jacket, one of those two items, were you able with that bullet to determine its caliber class?
I was, yes.
And what was its caliber class?
I determined that the item 4 bullet is a 22/5 millimeter caliber class.
Would the 22 5mm caliber class include 5.56 NATO caliber?
It would, yes.
So what is a caliber class? I guess I should ask you that first.
So a caliber class is a class of projectiles or ammunition based on the diameter of the bullet. So for this, the diameter is approximately .222, like that 22 caliber size projectile. So all of those are based on the diameter of the bullet itself.
Let me go ahead and walk through this. I'm going to publish several of our exhibits under States 33. I'm going to start with 33A. Do you see this on this envelope, the FDLE label that's associated to the submission and report we've been talking about?
Yes,
And does it have that unique FDLE number on top?
it does.
Does it have the submitting agency,
It does.
and that's the Tampa Police Department?
It is,
Does
yes.
it have their accompanying agency case number
It does, yes.
and their item or exhibit number?
Yes,
All right. And again, you're writing in indications of your item number.
that's correct.
So here, this is item 1. This is one of the fired fired bullet jackets.
That is correct.
Opening up the envelope and removing the smaller envelope. Do you see any markings on there you recognize?
I do, yes.
And where are they?
In that, at the top part, in that pinkish red color is the abbreviated version of the case number, item number, and my initials.
And do you see your FDLE evidence tape and your markings?
I do.
So that's item 1. I want to go to your item 4. Do you see the label for item 4 in this submission?
Yes.
And again, FDLE's unique number and the item number,
Yes.
submitting agency and its case number and its evidence, its exhibit number?
Yes.
Do you see writing that you recognize?
Yes.
And is it the pink or purplish colored writing on the top?
It is, yes.
And this is going to be your item number 4, the other fired bullet jacket.
Yes.
Your item 3, you recognize the item 3 label.
I do.
And is that based on the same things we've talked about on the other labels?
It is, yes.
Just for expediency. Going to the interior envelope. Do you recognize your writing on the top in the purple or pink?
I do.
Again, this is going to be your item 3, which is labeled as a bullet core.
Yes.
Your item 2, the other bullet core, do you see the label?
I do.
Moving the smaller envelope from inside. Do you see your writing on that envelope?
I do.
thinking I should have had you do this, probably. What's that? Nope, I'm just gonna keep this one. So states 33, D is in Delta, your item for, I'm showing it the inside envelope. Do you recognize your handwriting on that?
I do.
Ron, do you all have bigger gloves? Yes, sir. Just, I don't want to lose this item.
Should have one small.
Yeah, that's fine.
This copy is going to be better.
Oh, yeah, those two. But I've already got this one off. Did you leave them there in case I need them? Yep. Thank you. Ms. Drew, do you see markings on the jacketing below the part that is curled over that are significant to your analysis?
Yes, that's the area we use for our comparison purposes.
Okay. And are there striations of some type or lines on the jacketing?
So you'll see in there's areas that kind of look like it dips down a little bit. In the kind of the thinner area that looks different, that will be called a land, and that's part of the rifling. And then the part that looks a little bit more raised and larger would be the groove, which is the other part, an area of the rifling.
In this item 4, you were able to determine its caliber class. Was that in part because you had the diameter of the base of the bullet?
Yes.
Okay. So you've indicated earlier that 5.56 NATO would be within that caliber class.
It would, yes.
What are other calibers that would fall within that caliber class?
Other calibers would be the .223 Remington or a .22 long rifle short Winchester Magnum.
Were you able to determine if your item 1, the fired bullet jacket, was fired from the item number 9, the Anderson Manufacturing 300 blackout caliber auto-loading firearm?
I did draw a conclusion on that, yes.
Okay. And what was your conclusion?
I concluded that it was eliminated from the item 9 firearm due to a difference in class characteristics.
And what class characteristics were you looking at?
So in this instance, the difference in the GIMP widths, so that raised portion that we saw on that one, that width was different between the item 1 fired bullet jacket and the rifling in that firearm.
And the 300 blackout, is that a gun that is designed to fire 5.56 ammunition?
It is not.
Is it considered 300 blackout caliber to be within the 22 5mm caliber class?
It is not.
Does it fall into a different caliber class?
It does.
What caliber class does the 300 blackout fall into?
It falls into the 30 caliber class.
All right, so we're going to move on to your item 8. That would be States 56. If I can have the witness step down, Your Honor. You want to wear gloves? Okay. I'm going to hand this to you, your item 8. And again, this is going to be,
The firearm is clear.
okay, you've cleared it and checked it?
I just did, yes.
Okay. That's going to be the Black Forge 5.56 NATO caliber auto-loading rifle, semi-automatic rifle.
This is semi-automatic, yes.
Okay. So I want to ask you, first of all, semi-automatic, what does that term indicate?
Semi-automatic indicates that with each pull of the trigger, a single round or single cartridge will fire, meaning that as the firearm is charged, loaded, ready to fire, you pull the trigger, one will fire. You will release the trigger, another round will be loaded into the chamber during that cycle of fire, and the trigger must be pulled again for it to fire again.
Okay. And this type of firearm is fed from a box-style magazine?
Yes,
And you're pointing to an area, is that known as the magazine well?
that is, yes.
Is that where the magazine would be placed?
It is, yes.
Okay. Now, was this firearm submitted to you with a magazine?
It was not.
Did you test fire utilizing magazines that you maintain within your laboratory?
That is correct, yes.
And did it function the way it was supposed to function?
It did, yes.
The way it's designed to function?
Yes,
Does that firearm have an external manual safety
it does.
lever on it? Okay. So if you want to stand over here to get closer to the jury, just as long as you point it in a safe direction, I know it's cleared. I would like for you to demonstrate to the jury how that firearm would be loaded and charged and ready to be made to fire it.
So with this type of firearm, you would take and you would load the unfired rounds of ammunition into the magazine, which would then be inserted into the magazine well here. Then we would take, this is called the charging handle. This would be pulled rearward, opening up, strip a cartridge from the top of the magazine and load into the chamber, which is in the inner part right here. Once this is fully closed with a round in the magazine, the firearm is ready to fire as long as the safety is off. And then you will pull the trigger, the firearm will fire, the pressures will send the bolt area here rearward, extracting and ejecting the cartridge case from the firearm, and the forward motion will then again strip another unfired round from the magazine and load it into the chamber.
When you fire the gun, the bolt you're talking about, or the bolt carrier group, does it impact this top portion of the stock of the gun?
There is an inner part in here that contains a spring that the gas pressure from this firearm, as the gas travels down and back up the top part of the firearm here, it will condense the spring, and as it's fully condensed to the rearward, then that pressure from the spring will push it back forward to reclose the bolt carrier group to ready the firearm for another round.
When the firearm's fired, does it eject the fired cartridge case?
Yes,
Where would that come out?
it would come out from the port right here.
Okay,
As it's open, it will come out the port here.
all right. Now, turning the weapon around, and maybe I can hold it for you and you can show the jury. Can you show the jury where the safety lever is on this?
So on this firearm, this is what is considered the safety lever.
Avril, go ahead.
This is the safety lever, so in this condition, it is safe, and as it is switched, it is in the fire condition now.
Is this an AR style rifle or AR platform rifle?
That is generally what it's called, yes.
Okay, all right. If you can just keep your position there, and I'm going to show you states, or your number 9, which is states 57, I believe. Make sure. Yes. This is going to be your item 9, states 57. Oh, and I did want to ask you, when you finished your work on this case, did you place a zip tie through the magazine well and the ejection port?
Yes, we place a zip tie there to indicate that it is in a clear manner upon return.
Okay. And obviously that's the trigger, correct?
Yes, that part of the
Okay.
firearm is the trigger.
All right. This may be difficult to see, so I'm going to leave it up to you to see if you can hear it. You want me to hold that back?
Stay. And the firearm is clear on this one as well.
Okay, all right. This is your item 9, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and I didn't ask you on the other firearm, but did you leave individual markings or markings of your own on here where you indicated your FDLE number and maybe other markings?
Yes, I indicate the associated agency number, item number, and my initials on the firearm.
Okay.
It should be in the same location on that firearm as well.
Here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, this firearm, is that also an AR platform weapon?
Yes.
Same type of fire mechanism?
Yes.
The magazine feeds in the same way,
It does, yes.
in the same area?
Yes.
And it ejects a shell casing when it fires, like the other weapon?
Yes.
Okay. Does this weapon have a stock on it?
So it does not have the traditional stock. It has just the buffer tube.
Okay. And does this weapon have the same manual safety as the other weapon?
It does have the same type of safety here on the side of the firearm as well.
All right, let's get up here if we can. Is it okay, Your Honor, if I get a little closer to the jury?
Sure.
Okay. If you want to walk over here, Ms. Drew. So we see a similar lever here. Okay, so when it's in this horizontal position, is it in a safe position like the other firearm?
It is, yes.
And then you indicated to push it up to 90 degrees to fire?
That is correct, yes.
All right, now, does this weapon have another function?
Yes.
Okay, and if you push that lever all the way 180 degrees, it goes to another position,
That is correct.
all right? So I'm going to talk about the standard fire position,
Okay.
all right? Is this, in that mode, is it a semi-automatic firearm?
It is, yes.
And that would be the same function as the other rifle?
That is correct, yes.
One round is fired for each trigger pull.
That is correct.
All right. When the lever is pushed into the 180-degree position, does that result in a different type of firing system?
Yes, so in that position, during my testing, I determined that it has what's called a binary trigger, meaning with the pull of a trigger, a round will fire, and then the release of the trigger will fire another round of ammunition.
So in essence, when you pull the trigger and let it go, you're getting 2 rounds.
That is correct.
Okay. What is this item?
So that is what's considered a cartridge case catcher. It's an attachment that can be placed on a firearm in order to collect the cartridge cases as they're ejected from the firearm, because it sits right over where that port where they would eject from.
Is it commonly called a brass catcher?
It can be, yes.
Have you heard that term?
I have, yes.
All right. And are these devices that you see, are they common?
I've seen them a handful of times in my casework.
Okay. And how many times have you examined AR-style platform firearms?
Probably about 100 times.
Okay. And you've only seen this a handful of times?
That's correct.
Okay. This marking here, "Don't tread on me," is that something that you have seen on other firearms?
That's just additional marking on it. It's not relevant to what we do.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You can return to the witness stand. So item 9, the weapon we were just looking at with the brass catcher, did you also test fire that firearm?
I did.
And did you utilize a laboratory magazine?
I did.
So no magazine came with that?
That is correct.
And that firearm, what is its chambered caliber?
For that firearm, the item 9 was the 300 blackout caliber
Okay.
firearm.
And is that what you fired at it?
It is.
All right. Did it function the way it was designed to function?
In the sense of, yes, it fired semi-automatic in the upward position, and then this one had the additional area for the selector switch.
Okay. So let me ask you, with both of these weapons, are they designed to expel a projectile under the force of an explosive?
There.
And that's what you basically talked about earlier, where if the primer is hit by the firing pin, it ignites the powder, and then the expanding gases of that ignition and that pressure sends the bullet down the barrel.
That is correct, yes.
So I want to go to your January 9th report, and this is going to be FDLE number 2024-040-3556. Okay. And in that report, who was the submitting agency?
For this case, it was the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And did you also document in that report the agency number?
Yes, it was provided to me.
And what is that?
The agency number for that case is 24-03-18206.
And were there items submitted to the FDLE laboratory in Jacksonville on July 9th of 2024
There were, yes.
by that agency?
Yes.
And was one of those items your item number 5?
Yes.
And what was that described as?
One fired bullet.
And was there an agency exhibit number associated to that?
Yes.
And what is that?
3-13.
Now, did you examine item number 5,
I did.
the bullet? Did you determine its caliber class?
I did.
And what caliber class is it?
I determined that it was a 30/7.62 millimeter caliber class.
And that's the caliber class you've previously described as containing the 300 blackout caliber?
Yes.
All right. Did you compare it to item number 9 in the report that we were just talking about, your FDLE number 7688?
I did.
And did you come to any conclusions about that item?
I did.
And what was that?
I concluded that the item 5 bullet was identified to the item 9 firearm.
Okay, and that's the Anderson Manufacturing 300 blackout weapon
Yes.
with the binary trigger that we were just looking at.
Yes, sir.
And that Jacksonville case, was it an offense of death investigation out of Duval County?
Objection, felon, objection, John.
Overruled, go ahead.
Yes, I am provided that it was a death investigation in Duval County.
Okay. So now I also want to go to another January 9th, 2025 report. This would be under your FDLE number that ends in 7633. This would be a submitting agency number of 23-060-8083 from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Can you tell us in that report what the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office report number is?
For their agency?
Yes, their
Yeah.
agency number.
Yeah, their agency case number provided to me was 23-06080, sorry, 23-0608083.
Was that an offense in reference to a victim by the name of Charles Jones?
Yes, that information was provided by the agency.
Were items of evidence submitted to the FDLE laboratory in Jacksonville on December 19th of 2024?
Yes,
And was that by a detective or by a C. Drabeck?
yes,
Okay. Were those items later transferred to the Tampa Bay laboratory where you analyzed and examined them?
yes.
All right. And was there an FDLE item number 1 under that FDLE case number?
There was.
What was the agency exhibit number for that item 1?
1-4.
And what was the description of the item?
I described it as 13 fired 5.56 NATO caliber cartridge cases, items 1.1 through 1.5, 1.8, and 1.10 through 1.16, and 3 fired .223 Remington caliber cartridge cases, items 1.6, 1.7, and 1.9.
All right. So going back to the 22 5mm caliber class, does the .223 Remington caliber fall within that class?
It does.
Is .223 Remington caliber suitable for being fired in a 5.56 NATO chambered weapon?
It is.
So the .223 Remington caliber would properly be fired in the exhibit number 8, the Black Forge 5.56 NATO rifle.
The caliber could be fired in that firearm, yes.
Okay. Were these cartridge cases screened?
They were.
How so?
So for screening, we will go ahead and look at the cartridge cases under our microscope, which is a comparison microscope, meaning we can see the items at the same time under the same magnification. So when we put them on there and we're screening them, we're looking for, do they have the same class characteristics? So those predetermined features by the manufacturers, as well as is there any, similarities or significant differences. If there was any significant differences in that individual detail, they would be screened separately. If we notice similarities or no significant differences, they would then be screened together.
Publishing states 50A through P, and I'm showing you a label. Do you recognize this label is associated to this report in this submission?
I do, yes.
Do you see the FDLE individual unique number on the top of the label
Yes.
and the item number we're talking about?
Yes.
And the submitting agency,
Yes.
the submitting agency's case number,
Yes.
and its exhibit number that accompanies it?
Yes.
And your individual markings on this package?
Yes.
So that packaging contains your item numbers 1.1 through 1.5, 1.8, and 1.10 through 1.16, the 13 fired 5.56 NATO caliber cartridge cases,
It also includes the
1.6, 1.7, and 1.8.
1.9, but yes.
Well, I'm sorry, 1.9, which are the 3 fired 223 Remington
That is
caliber
correct.
cartridge cases? All right. And you said they have similar class and individual characteristics.
That is correct.
So I'm going to go to now another January 9th report. This would be under your FDLE number that ends in 4099 with an agency number of 24-03-90-999, submitting agency Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Yes.
All right. Were items of evidence submitted to the FDLE laboratory in Jacksonville on December 19th of 2024?
Yes.
And was that by an individual, C. Draback?
Yes.
Did you receive several items that were labeled as FDLE item number 2 under that FDLE case number
I did.
from the Jacksonville laboratory?
Yes.
And was the agency exhibit number accompanying that 1-12?
It was.
What was the description of those items?
So I just described them as 5 fired .223 Remington caliber cartridge cases, items 2.1 through 2.3, 2.5, and 2.8, and 4 fired 5.56 NATO caliber cartridge cases, items 2.4, 2.6, 2.7, and 2.9.
Were those items, those cartridge cases, also screened?
They were, yes.
And were you able to group them in any way?
Are we referring to the item 2 cartridge cases?
Yes.
So I concluded that items 2.1 through 2.9 were microscopically screened together based on similar class and individual characteristics.
Is that the same finding you made in the report we just talked about with item 1?
Yeah, I concluded that items 1.1 through 1.16 were microscopically screened together based on class and individual characteristics as well.
When you say screened together, what does that mean?
So that means we are not doing a full microscopic comparison to a full ID. We're stating that all of the class characteristics are in agreement, and we're noting some similarities and no significant differences.
States 49A through I. Do you recognize the individual FDLE number and your item number on states 49A through I?
I do.
And do you recognize the submitting agency, the case number from the submitting agency, and their department item or exhibit numbers,
I do.
and your individual writing on that package?
Yes.
And there's also a label from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
That's correct.
It indicates 223 caliber casings from black box. Is that correct?
Yes.
States 50A through P. Your item number 1, we talked about a few minutes ago, another on your January 9th report. There is an agency label on that exhibit too, isn't there?
That is correct.
All right. Did you conduct analysis where you cross-referenced these 2 cases?
I did.
And did you indicate your findings in both of these reports?
I did.
Did you do some type of comparison between item 1.1, which is a 5.56 NATO cartridge case, to item 2.9, which was previously described as a fired 5.56 NATO caliber cartridge case.
I did.
And what was the results of the comparison?
I concluded that the item 1.1 cartridge case from the case 2024-040-7633, that's the FDLE case number, was identified to the item 2.9 cartridge case submitted in FDLE case number 2024-040-4099.
And can you tell us what that means, identified?
Identify meaning that these two cartridge cases were fired from the same firearm.
And that firearm would have been chambered in 5.56 NATO?
That's correct.
All right. With both of these cases dealing with items, your item 2 and your item 1, did you also compare the 2.9 cartridge case, which is a 5.56 described fired cartridge case, to the item 8 rifle submitted in FDLE number 7688 by the Tampa Police Department?
I did do that comparison, yes.
And item 8 is the Black Forge NATO, a 5.56 NATO caliber rifle we were looking at earlier.
Yes.
And what were the results of that comparison?
For the 2.9?
Yes.
So the item 2.9 cartridge case from 4099 was eliminated to the item 8 rifle in 7688.
And did you do the same type of comparison with item 1.1?
I did,
Okay, to the same rifle?
correct,
Item number 8.
correct.
What was the results of that comparison?
I concluded that the item 1.1 cartridge case was eliminated to the item 8 rifle.
So item 1.1 and item 2.9 were fired from the same rifle, but not from the number 8 item, the number 8 Black Forge NATO rifle?
That is correct.
5.56 NATO, okay. May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'll tender the witness.
Okay, Cross.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So you, in this case at least, you're responsible, or were responsible for analyzing different casings and cartridges to figure out whether there was any match to any other case. Is that accurate?
Correct, I was asked to do the microscopic comparisons of the submitted evidence.
All right. In your work at FDLE, do you do any other types of analysis?
Meaning in a different discipline or within firearms?
Within, like DNA analysis, fingerprint analysis, anything like that?
No, I only do firearms.
Okay. So you wouldn't be the person to ask about whether there was any DNA or fingerprints on any of these weapons or the cartridges or anything like that?
No, sir.
All right, that's somebody else in your department or in your office?
Yeah, there's other sections that would do whether DNA or fingerprints was present.
All right. So you're just trying to determine whether the evidence that you recovered, not that you recovered, that was given to you, that was submitted to you, actually matches some other evidence out there in the world?
Yes, I'm just trying to determine if, these cartridge cases came from the same firearm and or the submitted firearm or not, and same for projectiles.
Okay. And you were able to determine, I guess what you were testifying to, you were able to determine that these two firearms, these rifles here, that these two rifles that were found in Sean Gathwright's house, they were used in some other October 7th, 2023 shooting?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
These two rifles, what are they connected to?
So I concluded that, sorry, let me refer to my notes, I apologize. That the,
Judge, I would object to the question as phrased, what are they connected objected to is vague.
I'm going to sustain the objection, rephrase.
What is the purpose of these, of showing these rifles to the jury?
Objection.
Sustain the objection. No. Sustain the objection.
What is the purpose of showing why there's a safety on this firearm, on these
I'm going
rifles?
to sustain the objection.
I don't even know what the objection is at this point. There's no
No,
legal
it's-
basis, it's just an objection.
It's
Objection to
irrelevant.
the speaking
It's
objections
irrelevant
by
and it's
counsel.
improper question.
It was
If I-
elicited in front of the
Mr.
jury.
I'm not gonna, Mr. McClement, I'm not gonna argue with you. If I allow the witness to testify, then that makes it relevant and material, okay?
And if it's relevant, then I should be able to
Objection, Your
cross-examine
Honor,
on
to
it.
I'm gonna
counsel
sustain
making
Can we
the-
come
comments in front
sidebar?
of the jury.
No, no.
So I can't argue, I can't come
Objection.
sidebar.
Mr.
This is
McClymonte,
improper for him to do
please
this in front of the
stop.
jury, Your Honor.
It's improper,
It's disrespectful, too.
I asked to come sidebar.
and the answer is no, we don't need to sidebar it. If the witness was permitted to testify something, that makes it relevant and admissible.
I'm not arguing that, Judge. I just want to talk to her about what she testified to.
Listen, I've sustained the objection. Ask your next question.
These rifles that you were displaying earlier, they fire certain bullets.
Yes, they're chambered to fire a specific caliber.
The caliber is what?
So of the item 8 rifle, it is chambered to fire 5.56 NATO caliber cartridges. And the item 8, which is the Anderson, is chambered to fire 300 blackout.
All right. The 300 blackout fire bullets are in which firearm? You said item, which one?
The 300 blackout is item, FDLE item 9.
Is that the one with or without the breast catcher?
I believe that's the one with the brass catcher.
With the brass catcher rifle, and then the 5.56 bullets are fired through the rifle here that does not have a brass catcher. Is that correct?
Yes.
Just to try to make it simple. In this shooting, the one with Charles Jones on June 23rd of 2024, were these rifles used in that shooting?
I don't know which case you're referring to. I have many reports.
There's only one June 23rd shooting for this case, right?
Okay, so this case, sorry, I apologize.
So in this case, the one that we're here for today, the one that Alicia Andrews is on trial for,
Objection, Your Honor. Inappropriate phrasing.
So go ahead and just answer the question if you can.
in this case, are these rifles connected to the shooting? In this case,
Vagueness.
Rephrase your question.
were these rifles used in the shooting?
So I determined that the projectiles I received, items 1 and 4 in this case, were inconclusive to the item 8 rifle, which is the 5.56 rifle, meaning I didn't have enough detail to say whether or not it was ID'd to that firearm or not.
Okay, that's for that one rifle? the one-
Correct.
Now what about the other rifle?
For that rifle, I was able to ID it to a projectile in one of my cross-reference cases.
But not in this case?
No.
No further questions?
Redirect?
So going to counsel's question about whether that rifle was utilized in this case, you didn't have enough evidence to make that determination, correct?
Yeah, based on the evidence I received, I had the 2 bullets that were inconclusive to the 1 rifle, and the 2 no value items, and then the 1 item was eliminated based on class difference, but that's all the evidence I received in this case.
The one item, the one rifle was eliminated.
The item 1 fired bullet jacket was eliminated to the item 9 rifle.
The blackout, the 300 blackout.
That is correct.
Okay. As to the other rifle, the 2 jacketed projectiles you had, you did not have enough, but all of the class characteristics met up, correct?
Objection, leaving, counsel testifying.
I can rephrase. Did all the class characteristics line up?
Yes, the class characteristics were the same between the items 1, 4, and that rifle.
So you can't say if it was used or not.
Correct.
It's possible it was.
That is a possibility.
Speculation.